Welcome to the online classes. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, after the Eid break, we start again, and today we will discuss the new chapter, which is named Sound. Sound is our new chapter. Before this chapter, we discussed waves, the types of waves, the causes which produce waves. So now we will discuss sound, which is also belong to the wave pattern. As a testing of previous knowledge, we studied two types of waves. One was transverse and other longitudinal waves. So the sound, it belongs to the longitudinal wave. First of all, we should understand what is sound. It is a sensation by which we transmit our ideas to the surrounding. Sound is a sensation by which we transmit our ideas to surrounding. For example, I am speaking, so my words transmits in the form of sound, and it reaches to the other surrounding ears, and they understand what I am talking, what is my demand. So sound is a sensation by which we transmit our ideas, which is in our mind. We can bring our ideas, we can transmit our ideas from mind with the help of sound through mouth. So as a result, we can communicate our messages. As a result, we communicate our demands. So what is the way which helpful to transmit these sensations, these ideas? These ideas can be transmitted, these sensations can be transmitted with the help of medium. So sound are the waves which can produced from one place to another place with the help of medium. So that is also called longitudinal waves. Sound belongs to the type of waves represent longitudinal waves. It is also called compressional waves. If there is no medium, there is no material medium, there will be no chance of the transfer of sound. So for the sound, we can transmit our ideas from one place to another place with the help of medium, and medium is required. That's why it is called compressional waves also. So sounds also is a form of waves which belong to the longitudinal pattern. For example, the vibration of tuning fork causes sound. So from this example we can come to another idea, that when sound will produce at that time when a body vibrates, and when body vibrates they will disturb the particles of the medium, and as a result waves will be produced, and these waves will belong to sound waves. So we can say vibration is the main factor to produce sound. Those bodies which vibrates, it produce sound. So how, the another subtopic is how sound is produced. As I said earlier, that sound is the sensation of ideas transmission. Sound, when sound produced, when a body vibrates, it will must produce sound. For example, when we talk, our lungs vibrate. If you keep your hand on your back, it feels vibration. This is because sound is going to produce. So when a body vibrates, it produces sound, because there are compression and rarefaction. Produced around the vibrating body. I will again use the example of tuning fork. Tuning fork is an instrument which is used in laboratory for sound production. So this is a tuning fork, like as shown in figure. When it vibrates, the fronds, the two wings, they start vibration, and as a result, compression, rarefaction, compression, rarefaction. Compression, rarefaction, compression, rarefaction. Where these compression, rarefaction produce? It is in air, because there is a medium and in the form of air. So the air molecule up to some extent compressed and then rarefact, and then compressed and then rarefact. So as a result, the energy transfer from tuning fork to the surrounding. So this is the cause of the sound production, because energy is a transfer from this A side and from B side in opposite direction, equal in magnitude, as a result of compression and rarefaction. So as a compression, what happened? when compression of the air take place, the density increase, volume decrease, and when density decrease, volume decrease, density increase, volume decrease, so energy will be increased, because when the density is greater, the effects will be greater. So when the volume decreased, so the density increased. As a result, the effect increase, and the energy which belongs to the density, it transfer from this point to another point. This is the phenomena used in the sound. So it is belongs to the tuning fork, but normally when, let's say, I'm speaking, the sound waves are producing by my mouth. With the help of lungs, I'm blowing air. So with the closed area of my mouth, there's compression take place. As a result, this compression rarefaction transfer from my mouth to the surrounding, where it is possible, where up to some extent where it is possible. These ideas transfer from my mouth to the surrounding area. So the sound is transmitted from my mouth to the surrounding area. So if there was no medium, there was no molecules presence, there will be no compression and rarefaction. So when there will be no compression and rarefaction, no sound will take place. Even everybody will observe me, my mouth is vibrating, my lips are moving, but no sound will be here because there is no medium. So medium is required for the sound waves. That's why sound waves are also called compressional waves and longitudinal waves. Transmission of sound. How sound transmit? I discussed just now, that for transmission of sound, the necessary factor is medium. Greater the density of medium, greater will be sound. Sound transfer, or you can say produced. Sound depend upon the density of medium. Greater the density, greater will be the sound produced. For example, in air, sound has some particular speed. But if we compare this air with the liquids, so the speed of sound will be increased because the density of liquid is greater than the air, gases. Similarly, the speed of sound is very, very greater in solids, because the density is more and more greater than liquid and gases. So transmission of sound, it depends upon the density of the medium. Greater the density, greater will be transmission take place. There are many factors: temperature, even air pressure. These all are count for the transmission of sound, but the most important factor is density, medium. Suppose if I compare the two solids, one is thread and other is iron. One is the thread, simple thread, and other is a steel bar, steel wire. when we produce vibration in both materials, so where is the possibility of the large sound produced? One is the simple thread and other is the steel thread. So in the steel wire, in the steel thread, in the steel wire, we have the possibility to produce large sound than the simple thread, you can say wire. So what is the main factor? That steel has more density than the other materials which belong to the thread. Okay, now detection of sound. Who detects sound? Question is, which organ detects sound? So that is in the common observation, we can hear the sound with the help of our ears, human ears, or all animals, even human, which is also belong to the you can say animals. So animals, living things, they having the detecting point which is in the form of ear. So ear is a organ, ear is a factor which detect the sound. With the help of ear, we can detect the sound. So what is in the ear? There are biological point of view. In the ear we have pinna, auditory nerves, auditory canal and cochlea. If I draw a diagram, that is pinna, that is the auditory canal, that is cochlea, that is auditory nerves, so if we observe our ear, in our ear this particular designing is it is not just a designing, it is a requirement for the sound hearing. If we remove this area, so we cannot be able to sound hear. So this pinna, it depends, this area, it collects the sound waves. With the help of auditory canal, the waves move inside the tunnel and reaches to the eardrum. There is eardrum inside, and this eardrum vibrates and it is connected with the auditory nerves, and these nerves send the message of vibration to our brain, and we can conclude and also we understand the sound waves, that what is the sound, what is the demand of the sound. So this ear is known as detecting organ of sound. There is no physical phenomena, there is no, you can say it is not belong to the physics, it is belong to the biology, because it is the part of our body. Although it works under the principle of sound waves in the form of compression and reflection, and it is also works under the principle of the physical phenomena, because already I said how we will produce sound, how we will detect the sound when there is a vibration take place. If the eardrum not be able to vibrate, then we cannot feel the sensation, we cannot understand the sound waves. So if a person having medical problem in the ears, so there is the problem might be in the auditory nerves as well as especially in eardrum. When this you can say this a thin film which is called eardrum, it is damaged, so the person become permanently deaf. In the side by side, if this auditory canal is full of some foreign bodies in the form of wax, in the form of water molecules, so at that time also we are disabled to understand a clear and neat sound. Why? Because sound waves cannot pass through the eardrum, and the eardrum is already disturbed by these molecules, so it cannot vibrate frequently as usually. So when the vibration is affected, so the sound waves cannot be reached, the sensation cannot be reached to auditory nerves, and the messages cannot be transmitted to the brain. So that person will be called a patient of ear. So we can say that this person are unable to hear the sound very clearly. So what is the reason? The reason is that there is problem in the auditory canal by foreign bodies, and as well as the eardrum. Okay, the other topic is characteristic of sound. There are three characteristics of sound. Number one, loudness. Number two, pitch. Number three, quality or timbre. So we will discuss one by one these three factors. First of all, loudness. In your book, the first character in your book print in the form of pitch, and then loudness, and then quality. Okay, it is never mind if I start from the loudness and then pitch, then quality, it's make no difference. So don't be confused. Number one, loudness. Loudness of sound. It is that characteristic it is that characteristic of sound by which we can differentiate between loud and faint sound. With the help of this characteristic, we can differentiate between the two sounds. One is loud, other is faint. One is loud, other is low loud. So this difference can be understood in the characteristic which is named loudness. So loudness, it is a characteristic of sound. It is also belong to the factors which depend loudness. So the factors which depend loudness are following. Number one, area of vibrating body. Number two, distance from the vibrating body. Number three, direction of wind. Number four, the density of air, the density of medium means air. The density of medium, okay. Medium in the form of air in this case. Number five, frequency of vibrating body. So first of all, area of vibrating body. Greater the area of vibrating body, greater will be sound produced. For example, an obstacle which has smaller area and other obstacle has large area. When you vibrate, when you produce some strike on the two surfaces, so the sound produced in the both obstacles will be different. The smaller area will be having some sound in the low quantity, and the large area will have the sound of great loudness or great quantity. So therefore we can say that greater the area, greater will be sound produced. Distance from the vibrating body. A body which is vibrating, it produces sound. The detecting organ, which is called ear, if it is at the greater distance, so we will hear a small sound, a low loudness of sound. And if we are close to the vibrating body, we will hear the loud sound. Similarly, direction of wind. If the direction of wind is in the same direction as sound waves are coming towards the ear, so as a result, the quantity will be increased and we will hear the loud sound. If the direction of air in opposite direction of the sound produced, yeah, you can say the direction of air in opposite direction of the sound waves, so we will hear low sound. Similarly, the density of the medium. In winter and in summer, in both cases, the same air molecules will behave different type of mediums. In the winter, the density increase. In the summer, the density decrease. So as a result, it affects the loudness also. So we can say in the summer and in winter, if we produce a sound, so the loudness will be different in the two different seasons because of the density of the medium. Similarly, frequency of the vibrating body. If the frequency of the vibrating body is large, so definitely we will observe the loud sound. If it is small, so we will have the faint sound or low loudness of sound. So these are the factors which involve in the characteristics characteristic of sound, which is called loudness of sound. So in your book, only 3 characteristics are discussed. I showed the 5. So you must copy my ideas also and just give the additional knowledge. But in your book, there are 3 main factors in page number 32. The area of vibrating body, distance from the source of sound, distance from the source of sound in distance from the source of vibrating body. And the third is material through which sound is traveling. That is called material medium. Another example in my mind, if you produce sound in air, it reaches to your detecting organ, so you feel some sensation. And if the same sound produced in the solids, when I vibrate solid, I put some strike on the solid surface, and you keep your ear on the solid surface in some different point, you hear a loud sound. Why? Because in solid the speed of sound is greater, so loudness is greater.